If you watched TLC back in the day, then I'm sure you'll remember this family. It's been an awful rocky road for the members of this family over the years, going from a family America loved to watch on television to being in headlines over their son's disgusting actions. There's been so much that has happened, and now one of the Duggar daughters has come out to speak on her experience growing up in this environment and what the cameras didn't capture. The Duggar family was brought into the spotlight through reality television. Parents Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar earned themselves a reality television series on TLC back in 2008. They started out as 17 kids and counting, and it was 18 and then 19. The family was extremely religious, and people were honestly quite fascinated by how they lived their lives. They said that they were allowing God to determine the number of children that they would have, and all the children that they did have were homeschooled and given little to no access to movies, television, pop culture, anything like that. They were followers of the Institute in Basic Life Principles, an organization established by Bill Gothard, a now disgraced minister. The Duggars lived by his teachings, and they taught their girls to be conservative, wearing long skirts, never pants. They kept their hair long, and they were always covered up. They were always told to take care of their younger siblings, cook and clean, and prepare to be good wives. The boys were to just be clean shaven and have short hair at all times. Both the boys and the girls were never allowed to date without a chaperone present. They were strict in making sure that dating led to marriage, and intentions were very clear. The show ran until 2015, when their eldest son Josh was called out for disgusting actions with girls, including his sisters. TLC canceled the show, and a new one was actually started later on that same year called Counting On, that followed the lives of the older siblings in the family as they went off, got married, and started families of their own. But after Josh's arrest in 2021, the show was officially canceled and the Duggars were officially off the air. Now that some time has passed and everyone in the family has seemingly gone their own ways, at least older siblings, one of them, Jinger, is now coming out about her story growing up on TV and in this environment. She currently lives in Los Angeles with her husband and her 2 daughters, and has come to realize just so much about her past, and she wants to talk about the changes that she's made in her life. Just a few months ago, she actually spoke out about this for the first time, talking about this book that she was writing, and she detailed just a little bit about how it's quite hard to leave what you know behind.
When you grow up in a tight-knit community where everyone believes the same things about everything, it can be hard to even consider the possibility that what you were taught may have been wrong. But we all need to, even if it's hard.
And within just a couple weeks, she's going to be releasing this memoir that she's wrote titled Becoming Free Indeed. That specifically talks about the way that her parents in their religion made her so fearful of life, and how she was able to get out of that mindset and take control of her life again. And she recently sat down with people to tell them more about what she wants people to know in regards to getting out of a situation like this, the things that she did and the realizations that she's had and how she felt during that time. She's even admitted that the things that she grew up hearing and believing were harmful, and that she's really worked on herself and tried to come out on top of all of this.
Realizing, the teaching I grew up under was harmful. It was damaging, and there are lasting effects.
She goes into detail about the fears that she had that were created by the strict family beliefs that she was surrounded by, and how she felt like bad things were going to happen to her if she strayed away in any way.
With modesty, right? Like, I thought that I had to wear dresses only to be pleasing to God. And if I step outside of what I think is expected of me, because he said, oh, you're only supposed to wear skirts or dresses no matter what activity you're doing, right? So if I stepped outside of that, I would think God's going to be so displeased with me, and it could bring harm on myself. Mm-hmm. I could be unnecessarily like in financial trouble if I stepped outside of these requirements that God has for me, that I didn't know God had for me, and be harmed. And so that was one, modesty.
It's just crazy that the thought of wearing pants could possibly lead you to having financial troubles. Like, that is how bad it was in their minds to wear pants. Like, this level of strictness was just so suffocating, it seemed like. But she says it wasn't even just that.
places I go, music I listen to with drums could bring harm on me. Friendships that may not be right in line with my bubble in his teachings. People who are outside of Gothard's teachings could bring harm on me if I was too close to them.
And that's exactly what kept her in this bubble and her family in this bubble for so long, is that they're constantly surrounding themselves with people that believe the things that they believe, and they're not allowing new perspectives, new ideas to come in. And Jinger is saying that because she has allowed that to happen to her, she has seen things much differently, and she's looked back on her past and realized that that was not okay. She later says that it was in 2017 that she came to this realization that her parents had been teaching one way and one way only, and one level of strictness, and you will be successful if you do this, this, and this. And it just didn't have to be that way. And it was her brother-in-law that was the one that introduced her, challenged her beliefs, and opened her eyes to new ways that you could be looking at things and living your life, honestly. She also says that looking back on it now, she kind of laughs about the things that she used to believe and the things that she did, because she thought that was the only way to be successful in life, and that's just simply not the truth. She's changed her views on so many things like alcohol and birth control, which is a big one. She says that she no longer views these things as something that is unnecessary or bad or wrong. She says she doesn't care if people drink alcohol. She personally doesn't, but she doesn't care if other people do it. And in regards to birth control, I was quite surprised that she was saying this, because this is something that her family has talked about since the beginning of their show, that they don't believe in birth control. They think it's wrong. They've said very unfactual things about birth control. And she is here to say that that is not something that she views in a negative light anymore, and she has changed her opinions on it. And I was surprised, but good for her. Now, she does kind of talk about how she's had conversations with her parents about these changes that she's made in her life and how she's strayed away from their beliefs, and she's trying to be respectful of them. And she says that when it comes to sharing these things, it's a sensitive topic, and she's told them the new choices that she's made for herself, like the fact that she wears pants now. And she says that a lot of the things that she now believes in don't align with her parents, and they just kind of agree to disagree on things. She was also asked about her brother Josh, to which she says that whole thing is just so heartbreaking. It's obviously just a really hard topic for her to discuss, because it's a lot. It also doesn't seem like his wife and kids are close with his family at the moment, but Jinger did say that she would always be there for his wife Anna and their kids if they ever wanted to talk or feel that love from her. She is there for them. Now, when talking about her own family, her daughters, and her husband, she says that she feels like it's so important and such a good place for them to be living in Los Angeles. She says that this is great for her kids to be introduced to all sorts of different perspectives on life, and it's just a healthy place for them to be right now. She really didn't want them growing up as sheltered as she was. She wants them to be experiencing new people, new sights, and everything, new cultures, and get challenged. And speaking of her daughter, she's also choosing not to share them with the public. She says that she's just not showing their face, and she wants that to be up to them. She grew up in the public eye and wants her daughters to be able to decide for themselves what they want to do later down the line, and she's completely open to whatever they want to do, just wants to make sure that it is their decision. And it seems like Jinger is in a really good place right now. She certainly has come a long way from the way that she used to view life as she was growing up. It's honestly so nice to see how she's doing and to know that she's come out of all the toxic and harmful teachings. It's unclear where her other siblings kind of stand with this as of right now, but maybe with her speaking out, more of them will come forward about their experiences and possibly having changed from how they grew up. A lot of them are on social media, and you can see that they are living slightly different than how they were when they were kids. But Ginger's really been one of the only ones to talk about that journey of going through those changes and unlearning what was taught to them all those years. I certainly want to know if you guys ever watched this family when they were on TV, and what you guys think about what Jinger had to say about her journey straying away from their beliefs. Let me know in the comments below. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.